And we should now be live. Hello everybody. I'm just going to check everything's running correctly. It is. Excellent. Hello everyone. Welcome to the usual, I say usual, Sunday stream. I know it has been a couple of weeks, and that was because last week, or not last week, but the week before last, I was surprised by a surprise trip by Fallout. Me and Dane's buddy from America, who was in one of the videos on our stream week where he was playing SnowRunner and Zombies with us. He surprised me with a birthday trip from America to here, so we had company for the last few weeks, hence why there was no streams and no videos because of that surprise trip. But we are back now. Everything will be going in accordance to the usual sort of things. Hello Jurassic Nation, King Giga is here as always, Jacob the Goose as well, Joshua 2, Rob Earth, and I'm sure there's a few others lurking. And we are back with our Phaorohs Valley V2, and there has been a few updates. Firstly, as you can see, we have some Egyptian decorations. Thanks to the new Egyptian decorations mod that was released, so I've been able to give the park a little bit of a better Egypt feel thanks to that. And some of you might notice that darkness is a little bit darker thanks to one of Kai's mods. And just so you can see the difference, I'm just going to show you what this looks like without Kai's mod on. Is that standard? I think that is standard. Yep. And then let's have it on intense darker night. There we go. Nighttime properly dark. That's what I imagine darkness to look like. And it really helps bring out the colors of the lighting and stuff. Obviously this is obviously a bit dark to like build with, but it definitely goes to show how nice things can look in the dark. Also, I'm sorry to hear that, Joshua. I'm just going to switch this back to what I had it on, which was deeper. There we are. Oof. Yeah, the lighting mods do lead to some sort of strange flashings and stuff as it inputs the changes. So that is something you do have to be aware of if you're using that mod. But we're going to switch it back to daytime so we can build easily. So last time we basically built up all of this section here. We constructed the amenities. We constructed the Megalania exhibit here, which I might redesign a bit now that we've got some more decorations and stuff. And that was where we left it. Well, while you have been away, I have been setting up basically what is going to be Horus's palace here. So we can see I've already drew in Horus's path art there, or technically it's a hieroglyphic for Horus, and put in the monorail structures around it, and sort of basically been sort of laying out how it's going to go. And I thought I'd put a few Quetzalcoatlus on this mount here to overlook the area. What today I want to do is focus on this sort of section here in this, what are we going to call it, surrounded by these cliffs basically. and hopefully just try and get more of the palace built up. That's the aim for today. Do you know the upcoming documentary called T-Rex? Yes, I've heard about it. I've heard there's already a lot of people slagging off the terrible CGI quality. I have no interest. I've looked at the trailers and stuff, and the quality is so poor. It's just going to be another dinosaur with steam and fry. So
I was gonna say it's one dinosaur dinosaur documentary too many at this stage for you.
yes, I no longer want to handle bad dinosaur documentaries. Spinoceratops makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of get away from talking about the hybrid DLC pack, since that's what I mostly spent the last stream doing it. You know, I thought I was pretty clear on what my thoughts were in that last stream. There is going to be next week, hopefully 2 videos. One video which is just going to basically kind of be a TLDR version of what my thoughts about the hybrid DLC pack were for those people who don't want to go back and watch that 2-hour stream. And one which is going to be basically ranking all the DLC packs in accordance to what I'm interested in. And then that'll be kind of it. Jurassic Fight Club was definitely a poor documentary. So, let's get to Horus's palace then. So, I kind of have a general gist of how I want to lay this out. This area down here. Let's just draw it out with paths. So this area down here is going to be the gardens, because in my original park, it's probably going to be easier to do this with the texture actually. In my original park, when I constructed this in Jurassic World Evolution 1, there was basically a whole garden section which led into hotels. And I basically want to kind of do something similar here. So this area south of Horus's temple is going to be the gardens. These will be palatial gardens. The actual hotels, I'm thinking maybe make use of this strange area here and have like a small-ish hotel there. And maybe give it like its own kind of separated off area. So like kind of give it a private sort of garden in this block here. And then we've probably got room for... It's going to be tricky. I think we will have room for maybe 2 aviary enclosures over here. Or maybe an aviary enclosure and a normal enclosure over here. I'm thinking we can be quite loose with how we plan this out. Also, thanks to Kyadenic suddenly updating his open aviaries and open lagoons mod out of nowhere, it's given me some ideas of what we can do for designing these enclosures. But we will also need to decide what animals we pick for Horus, and obviously because Horus is often depicted with a falcon hieroglyphic, we obviously want to use feathered animal species in this particular area. Now what I want to kind of do with this first enclosure in this gap is try to like combine a aviary and a standard sort of land-based enclosure. That's cutting off way too much. So I'm going to just change. Change this up slightly. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it might be an idea to actually put the aviary in first, because the aviaries are going to be the tricky bits. Invisible aviary? Yes, we want to use the invisible aviary, but we kind of need to... We kind of need to be careful where we put it. I'm thinking... So 1, 2, 3. But what we need to do is we need to remember where they are. We need to remember actually where the position of these are. Is there any way that we can get it to show up? It doesn't look like it. Right. Theri would be awesome. I think Theri is a bit too big to represent Horus. Also, Theri is a bit scary, and I want to use it in the Anubis area of the park. Not gonna lie, Fletcher, Ultimasaurus and Malisaurus would have been better in the DLC than the OG3. I mean, oh, that's helpful. Ah, okay. This is actually, this will be quite helpful for figuring out where these are. Obviously, so I've been kind of having a bit of introspection, shall we say, over the past, you know, while I've been off of stream, thinking about how I have been critical of, you know, the various aspects of Jurassic World Evolution 2's development, especially the DLC. I do think it's very easy for us to, you know, kind of criticize and say, oh, there were better ways of doing it, there were better things that could have been done, blah, blah, blah. I do want to make it clear that I don't think the DLC is as bad as perhaps I may have thought it was at the time. Looking back at some of my comments, I think, yeah, maybe I did over-egg the pudding a bit. It's just tricky not to feel a bit ticked off. I'm also kind of trying to figure out just sort of how critical I actually can be, because now I want the channel to grow, and channels tend to grow better when people like your content. And it does sometimes feel that people who are really, really overly critical all of the time just end up pissing people off. But at the same time, I don't want to become... I say, you know, use the word shill. I'm using it because there's no better term in my opinion. You know, I don't want to become just someone who's going to ignore criticisms. But at the same time, I don't want to kind of be someone who is always kind of accused of being overly pessimistic and stuff. Because there's lots about Jurassic World Evolution 2 I do generally like. I just wish there was, you know, more that I did genuinely like. But I do agree that it would have been nice to have not necessarily more interesting hybrids, but new hybrids. I do stand by my claim that I think that the hybrid DLC pack should have been, if not freely put into the game as part of the free update, at least half of it should have. Right, so here's the plan. We have the invisible aviaries that Kyodenic has wonderfully created again. That's going to be kind of... The illusion is going to be that you're going to have, you know, the pterosaurs at this end of the enclosure. And then the other side of the enclosure will have standard dinosaurs. So this is the sort of dinosaur part of the enclosure. This is the pterosaur part of the enclosure. We need to make it look like it's one big open enclosure. We obviously also need to ensure that there's some way of people to view the enclosure. And we need to think about what's going in here. So, I want there to kind of be some sort of quite sort of something like a plaza. And then see, something I don't like is that this is kind of quite flat so far. So I'm thinking maybe drop this enclosure down below ground level. And then we could utilize... I mean, I am tempted to use one of these lagoon viewing stands again, but drop the terrain down all the way so that you sort of go down with them to dinosaur level. The only problem I have with that is we're going to have to dig a lot of terrain out. Let's see how far we would have to dig down. And let's see how it looks. Let's move that forwards. So... yeah, about there would do. So it'd have to be about that height. So let's just extend this all the way around. No offense, Fletcher, I came here for World War II commentary with dinosaur background, not opinions on the hybrid pack. Yes, I suppose I am known for my history commentary as well. But when I attempted to do videos with a historical feel, no one watched them. So I gave up with them. What do you think about a golden Gigantoraptor for Horus? That's an interesting point. I haven't used Gigantoraptor yet, so we could try to have a Gigantoraptor in here. Oh, I have played Plague Inc. I love Plague Inc. Okay, so and then obviously we would just smooth out this terrain there. You know, I actually don't think that's too low. I'm actually quite happy with that. So I'm gonna remove this. Oh, now this is where it gets very fussy. Because you have to have enough terrain to put down the gallery. But you also have to have water in order to make the gallery work, essentially. So there is our water. Let's grab our gallery. I think these ones are in here. And then obviously that would go... Oh, we're not quite... Interesting. That's a lot more noticeable than it used to be. Is the other one different? Oh yeah, that one hides it a lot better. So we need to use this design. And I think it needs to be a little bit lower. A couple of contour lines. Hello, Darth Spino. I reckon it needs to be maybe that much. Can always adjust it and have many different layers. No one watches your historical videos because it reminds them of school. Well, I'm not really sure how I could create a educational video without it sounding like school. That is kind of, you know, that is kind of the point. Oh, damn. I've gone too low this time. Needs to be like one more. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Good. JWE versus Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. I really don't think that's a very fair thing to do. I mean, I know that a lot of my Jurassic World Evolution 1 review compared them. But I think it's not 100% fair on either game to compare them in such a way. I'm thinking maybe having that... I think maybe we need more than one. So maybe have... Naturally. Oh, you pain in the arse. This is the only problem with this particular way of doing it. It is very temperamental at times. Can I place it on ground, please? No, we can't get rid of that. Okay. At least we have them, we have kind of the heights figured out. So all we need to do is like put in a little water. Needs a bit more water. Sorry. Why are you still so far away from water? For goodness sake. Yes. Oh, shouldn't have been that difficult. But we got there. Oh. There we go. Good. God. I mean, that was more difficult than it needed to be. These sort of edges you can then kind of just basically hide with vegetation, which is what I will basically do. Because I don't actually want the water down here. I want the water to be... I want the water to be over here, so we could then have like a waterfall from the pterosaur area down. That's the plan, anyway. Anniversary gift this year better be a freaky roller coaster and animatronics. I'm really not sure we're gonna get that much for it. In fact, you know, I mean, I am very much of the opinion that there won't be another DLC. I know some people are going on and on about, you know, oh, Steam says there's going to be something and blah blah blah. I'm not 100% convinced. And if there is something, I don't think it's going to be what the game needs. I could be pleasantly surprised. I mean, Return to Jurassic Park, the massive expansion for Jurassic World Evolution 1, completely surprised me because I thought there's no way that they were going to do anything remotely that good at that late stage of the game, but they did. I was like, oh wow, okay. But for Jurassic World Evolution 2, I mean, one of the issues I have is that everyone wants an expansion, but so far I've not heard anyone kind of come up with one that I think is actually doable. I know that like a Manticore expansion gets thrown around quite often, but again, I don't think there's enough to warrant a full expansion of that. I think if there was going to be a manticore pack, I think it's probably just going to be an animal pack. Because if I'm honest, I kind of think the Camp Cretaceous should have been an expansion rather than a dinosaur pack. Because there was plenty in the Camp Cretaceous what's the word I'm looking for? There was plenty in the Camp Cretaceous canon that would have made for a very decent expansion pack. I think one of the reasons Frontier have kind of piecemeal given us bits from the Camp Cretaceous pack, because if you think about it, we had the actual Camp Cretaceous pack, and then the Nothosaur will put in the Lagoon pack, and the Tarbosaurus will put in the Cretaceous Predator pack. It's kind of like they deliberately spread out the Camp Cretaceous content to more than one DLC, so they had more DLC to sell. Because any one of us probably would have put all the Camp Cretaceous content in one DLC expansion. But that's just me being cynical again. Even though I have to admit that 90% of the time my cynicisms are with good reason. Hello, Quackers Plays. How are you doing? I'm thinking I might use something like this to block off the rest of this sort of section. So you can either use the galleries to have a look out of what's here, or you can use the glass windows, and then the rest of this will just be blocked off by this sort of thing. I kind of want to use these murals as much as I can, because obviously they are one of the most Egypt-y looking, like, sort of decorative pieces that we have. I'm thinking surely the curved one has got to fit in there, surely. I think it will with the Move It mod. I just need to make sure it's the lineup is correct here. Okay, and let's just use the Move It mod and just put that into there. And you know, maybe if we use the second one and put it out there. I love the Move It mod. Just the ability to just nudge something over the borders so you can actually kind of complete an idea you had. It's a bit annoying that we've got like a little gap there. But we can think of something to do there, or even I could just do this really. I could just go and you utter bastard. Honestly, this is the thing that ticks me off the most. I know I've mentioned this before, and I'm just going to say it again, because it really grinds my gears. Why, Frontier, could you not just draw a fucking straight, bloody line? Why did you have to draw it like that? For heaven's sake. Fucking thing. There we go. We can put like a flaming obelisk or something. Oh, hello, sarcastically. Have you made a car park for this? No, Quackers, I don't really do car parks. mostly because I think, well, for an area like here, a car park doesn't make very much sense. I also think it wastes a lot of area. I might, in the next build, try to do something that's like semi-realistic to like a British zoo, but that would be very, very complicated. And I'd have to get some references. I have to get some reference images, I think. The point of Phaorohs Valley as a park is to focus on like path art and decorative elements. That was the initial purpose of the park, though. Can you please align those wall items with the glass windows? As in, what, lower them down to the same level? Suppose I could. I mean, I was going to put a piece of concrete over the top anyway. But let's see how it looks if I lower them. Because I don't want to spoil the mural. I mean, that's okay, but one of the problems I have with that is then you don't have the concrete going along the bottom. So it's still going to look a bit bizarre compared with the glass. Hence why I was just going to put a piece of concrete across the top. Because all I was going to do was, let's put that back where it was, which was about there. I was just going to grab that. Let's just do the one. So that would be roughly level. And then you've got the concrete sheath, on, for want of a better term, on the bottom, and it still connects to the top. I mean, well, obviously it won't quite work when we get to there, though. You know, honestly, actually, I think you're right. I think let's lower these down to the same level as the glass. And then we'll think about how to style the bottom. I think you are right. I think that's going to look better in the long run. So, about there. I wish this mural pattern was available on our amenities. I would love to be able to actually put this on them as a skin option. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. I agree with that. And let's just put in the path. Put in the path. Here is where it's going to get tricky. Ah. Ah, okay. Ah, right. Haha. Mmm. Let's have the path go up to about there. Oh my god, why is this path being so misbehaved? Why is this path being so badly behaved today? We're going to have to do some jiggery pokery to get this to work correctly. Hello, Nisa. I wonder if update 12 will introduce a coastal biomap. Again, Cairo, I just don't think it's likely. One of the problems I have with all these suggestions of stuff that they might do is I think no one is really considering the realities of Frontier's situation. They are not doing financially very well, for one. For two, Frontier have lost a lot of manpower. You know, they've had to make a lot of people redundant. And this game is already old. In that sort of situation, massive gameplay altering work is unlikely. It just isn't feasible. Something like a DLC pack, like the hybrid pack, especially when you have like 50% of the assets already, that's a little more realistic. Massive overhauls and, you know, Cenozoic stuff and everything else, I don't think is likely. Not for a sort of end-of-life DLC. Because even if we do get another DLC, I honestly don't think there'll be one after it. I think it'll be the last thing that we get. And we've got to be realistic with that. Okay. JWE2 upsides are that it's on console and has mods. In comparison to what? What are we comparing here? Quackers, I do have modded dinosaurs. I mean, if I just go over here. Here is Centrosaurus, for example. So I do have modded dinosaurs in-game. I mean, there's also Megalanian, not a dinosaur, obviously, but... It kind of looks even funnier when they're not the Dimetrodon. Dump. Get Prehistoric. Oh, I see. Are we comparing Prehistoric Kingdom and Jurassic World Evolution too? Oh, thank you, Untapered Leech. Thank you for confirming that. Also, hello. I haven't seen you around on streams before. Yeah. Comparing Prehistoric Kingdom and Jurassic World Evolution 2 is like... It's like comparing a well-made vanilla sponge cake with a recipe you've seen in a book that you want to try. Like, the sponge cake, Jurassic World Evolution 2, you know it's nice. It's simple, it's easy to make, doesn't take much time to learn or get into, and you know you enjoy it. It's just a bit, you know, it gets bland after a while, it's not very interesting. Meanwhile, the recipe in the book that you found that you've never tried before, Prehistoric Kingdom, it's going to take a lot of time to learn, and you may end up making a complete mess of it, but it has the potential to be far superior. If you get my metaphor. I do like my metaphor, so I apologize. I apologize if that's confusing for people. I do tend to speak in metaphor a lot. But I hope you get my drift with that. They are very, very different games, and I think it's impossible to compare them, and I don't think you should compare them, because both games are trying to achieve something overwhelmingly different. I also think that it's I think also if you want to try to figure out which one to buy, I don't think it's a case that if you enjoy Jurassic World Evolution 2, you'll enjoy Prehistoric Kingdom. I actually think if you enjoy Jurassic World Evolution 2 but don't like games like Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, stick to Jurassic World Evolution. There is nothing wrong with saying you prefer a simple game, and in some respects, I vastly prefer Jurassic World Evolution 2 for how simple it is and quick it is to build something. As long as you accept the limitations of that system. Right. So that's kind of basically the general gist of how I want this to look. I'm going to make sure there's plants over here. And this end, because we can't put path here, I'm basically going to put plants here as well and have like a little garden at the end. Then there'll be sort of seating and stuff here. And then this central piece we'll do something with. We'll have some... kind of want to have some more monorail structure. Maybe across here, just to fill in this gap between the two routes. And to continue the sort of monorail theme that we have around, because this is basically supposed to be a palace. So if we can cover stuff as much as possible without it looking too horrible. So next thing to do is to just kind of put in the waterfall, I think. We want to use this one. And I want it to go kind of there, basically. We're going to have to do a bit of terrain mumbo-jumbo to get it to sort of work correctly. That's still a little bit too low. High even. That's a bit better. Actually, I don't mind it covering that up. Because we can cover that up with stuff. It's all about finding the right sort of positioning. That, if I can flatten, not flatten, smooth. If I can smooth out this just a bit. Let's chop up a little bit more of that one. And let's see if we can just smooth the terrain a bit more. You know, there are tolerances here. I can cover that up with some plants and some rocks. It basically does what I want it to do. I don't think Jurassic World Evolution 2 is better than Zoo Tycoon 2. It's difficult to say. Again, I think for what Jurassic World Evolution 2 was trying to achieve, I think it achieves it very well. I just think the problem is Jurassic World Evolution 2 and 1 was trying to achieve not very much. I think no, that's wrong. Not that it wasn't not that it was trying to achieve not very much. I think Jurassic World Evolution 2 had very simple goals. Simple goals, I think, is the better term for it. You know, they didn't want to achieve anything over the top. They went for a relatively simple idea, which is perfectly fine. I just think we all had more expectations from a company that had made like Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo. I think, and as I said in my Jurassic World Evolution 1 review, I think part of the reason was our own expectations for how that game turned out, because we expected Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster with dinosaurs, and what we got was a perfectly adequate park building sim, if just not a very imaginative one. For the palace, can you use Gojisaurus from Hyper? I don't think I got Gojisaurus because I just didn't think. I think we have too many carnivores in game. Most of the mods I've installed are sort of areas where I think the game needs more species. And I do think, I mean, there was that. I saw that Aerostean was now on the Nexus, and it looks very nice. But I think we got too many similar-sized carnivores. I want something kind of different. But we've got plenty of feathered species, and I think using Gigantoraptor here is a really good idea. Yeah, I like that. The use of the waterfall, we've got a bit of a valley here. And then obviously our pterosaurs will have all the water that's basically here. And I'm just going to switch to map so we can see. So they've got a fairly good, healthy chunk of water there. I'm reasonably happy with that. We will go into the species viewer in a minute and go and find some skins for stuff. Water not being able to touch the edges. Yeah, water seems to be a problem that a lot of games like this struggle with. The water controls in Planet Coaster were a nightmare to get to work properly. Right, so invisible wall. You know, there are loads of little quality of life features that would make this game so much better. Like turning off snapping, for example. It would make things so much easier to do. We're going to have to do a lot of manually placing of trees, I think, with this enclosure. Now, I'm going to leave that gap there, because I want to divide the pterosaur enclosure from the ground-based enclosure via the use of trees. Because there's enough space for it here. So I'm going to use the handy ginkgo. And that's just going to divide the two areas off. Here and here. Probably going to have to manually put in a few other trees just to thicken that up a bit. But that's kind of the gist of this area. I'm going to leave this a different color just so we know where it is. What sort of habitat shall we use for this lower bit? Or do we just want to go with sort of generic Egypt? What did I do for the terrain paint over here, actually? Oh, I see. Okay. So this was the base color. I had a dinky little Protoceratops enclosure in PK and it took me like $2,000 of stretching logs to make it look really good. Yes, you did. That is the problem of Prehistoric Kingdom. Like, you can make something look absolutely amazing, but you need to take time, you need to plan it out, you need to think about it, you kind of need to be like an architect. And obviously the end product you'll get will be absolutely amazing, but it'll be, you need to put in thousands of hours of work to make a whole park. And I don't think most of the people who play games has that kind of patience. I do. I mean, I love that sort of slow burn game. It's why I love stuff like Subnautica and Cosmeteer and SnowRunner. You know, games, dad games, where you can just sort of sit there not really doing very much for a few hours. Where you just have a very simple project that you want to, you know, complete. Most gamers, though, aren't like that. I think I would quite like this to kind of look like a bit of a an Egyptian style village. So I'm thinking maybe put a couple of like I have a couple of Egyptian homes as part of the decoration mod. So I'm thinking maybe stick a few by this water and try and make it look like a bit of an Egyptian village sort of affair. So let's have like one sort of there, and then let's have like another kind of sort of here, and let's have a slightly different one. Kind of here. Yeah, and then maybe let's have like a... I'd love like an Egyptian style bridge or something. That kind of gets the gist across though. Maybe if we colored it with a slightly different terrain texture. And we can decorate the rest with like plants and stuff. And maybe we could do like... Maybe have a couple in the pterosaur enclosure as well. Right, now we've got the general gist. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it under 2.1. Right, let's go back to main menu and have a look for some skins. I have no idea what this park will be. Can you explain what you're building? I'm building a remake of my Phaorohs Valley park, which was a park I made for Evo's 40,000k of 40k subscriber Battle of the Builders. I was one of the original winners of that contest. And I made, on Jurassic World Evolution 1, an Egypt theme park. I wanted to rebuild it on this game, but use the Southwest USA map, which everybody kind of hates. I wanted to use it as it is in its default form to kind of show that you can make something really good if you just have a bit of imagination. That's the point of the park. Yeah, I'm thinking some Egyptian god statues around. A little fireplace. We could try and make her something that looks like a fireplace for sure. Oh, that was a long time ago, Berenson. A very, very long time ago. I think I won best modded build because I used so many mods, obviously, to make it work. I'm annoyed I'm going to be seeing the Secret Species DLC in my main menu for a while. Yeah, it's one of the most annoying features on this. Okay, let's do the obvious easy bit first. Let's grab Gigantoraptor and decide on some skins. So I want it to... The skins have to have that Egyptian feel to them, okay? Now I know that there should be in here somewhere. There's like a blue and gold. Ah, is it this one? Yes. So this is basically like Tutankhamun's headdress colors with the blue and the gold. So I think that one on its own is perfectly good. I don't think any of the patterns... This is an example of like a dinosaur whose patterns kind of ruin the skin, in my opinion. Like, none of them really, apart from maybe Pelophylax, but if you just have no pattern, it looks much better. Mangrove Forest. So now we just need to find another one that we could kind of have as something a bit Egyptian-y. Obviously something maybe of a desert coloration. You know, hang on, let's go onto Google. And let's look at native Egyptian animals. Let's see if there's some animals in here that we could try to... Okay, so there's things like fennec foxes, camels, hyena. There is a type of falcon. Oh, steppe eagle? Is it? Let's go for birds. Let's do birds. Pardon me. Ah. Okay, that's better. I've got a picture of some native birds. So... common kestrel. Steppe eagles are the national bird of Egypt. Steppe eagles are kind of like brown with white and black. Yeah, no, not like that. Something... I think something more... That's kind of similar. You've got like the brown, you've got like a bit of the black and the white as well. Maybe. What other animals have we got? European bee-eaters are kind of like brown and blue. And you've got the Nile Valley sunbird, which is kind of like green. Hang on, let me find a better picture of that. Nile Valley sunbird. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so it's got like a green head and a yellow belly. Something... It's kind of like that. It's got blue on it as well, so that works. And then maybe... That's very close. Because the wings are like grey. Ooh, that might be closer still. You know, it's not 100% perfect, but I think that. That looks very close. So Amazon rainforest and Calcorana. What other birds? Oh, the Sinai rosefinch looks really good, cool as well. Hang on, Sinai rosefinch. Oh, it's like a pinkish one. So, let's remove that. It's like Gambia River Basin is probably the closest to that. I wish it was a bit more pink. Yeah, it doesn't work quite as well. I thought that red was a bit more pink than that. Yeah, maybe let's just do one based on the steppe eagle, which is like that brown. Basically that. So, Great Sandy Desert and Rana. Okay, so that's our Gigantoraptors. 2 based on real life Egyptian animals, 1 based on Tutankhamun's headcrest. Now the difficult choice is what flying animal we're going to use. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be feathered. Yeah, I think I'm going to use Utahraptors in the other side. Because Utahraptor is basically the other really good feathered carnivore. I wish we had feathered herbivores. Tapejara does have a nice crest, like a pharaoh. I agree with you there. Okay, what sort of colours have we got going on here? Maybe we could have... The colours are a bit frustrating. What about Geostembergia? Or... I mean, I know I've used them recently, but... You know, the coloration on the Pteranodon's head crest and the shape of the crest is very Egyptian pharaoh one. Maybe we could have... I mean, it's a fairly big enclosure. We could have more than one species. Barbaridactylus is a bit small. Okay, Let's do Pteranodon and Tapijara. And we'll just do only like 2 of each. So for Pteranodon, let's have a single color pattern. I think out of all of them, I mean, I really like the rainforest one. And I do really like the sapphire one. I think sticking with the kind of blue or gold motif, we'll stick with the sapphire. You know, that's basically it, that. Okay, so Pteranodon is Amazon rainforest. And Pelophylax. And then Tapijara. Maybe this guy we can make look like that Sinai Finch. Not really. Tapijara, let's go with... Let's go with something that's very different in colour. I quite like that one actually. It's subtle, but decorative. Gambia River Basin and Porkrana. And we'll basically kind of do like 2 in each. Right, let's go back to in-game. I hope we don't have any problems loading in, because when I first started this up and tried to load into the map, it crashed on me. Aviary creatures have this weird issue where they're colourful but not colourful enough. I don't think it's the colours that are the problem for me with... In fact, with a lot of the dinosaur skins in this game, it's not the colours that are the problem, it's the pattern that they go for. Too many skins in this game, they've just kind of gone with this generic sort of, let's just put loads of lines over the animal that are a different colour. And if you look at the real world, patterns don't work like that. Usually if an animal has a pattern, it's for a specific purpose. It's either for camouflaging, in which case you'll see stripes, or it's for mating displays, in which case you'll see usually colours on patterns on the head, the tail, the neck, sometimes the arms or the wings if it's a bird. That's generally what patterns are used for. The only animals that kind of just have generic patterns, sometimes insects, sometimes, but even those have a purpose. And that's what I think the problem is. I don't think the colours are necessarily the problem. I think the problem is these animals have patterns that don't kind of have a purpose. Right. We need to put the pterosaurs in first. So let's design their enclosure. going to have to do a lot of placing of trees and stuff in here. Okie dokie. I do want to kind of have another one of those houses up here. But I'm thinking of sticking a couple of perches in it. I am also aware we're going to need to make sure people can see them. So what I'm thinking of doing is this will make sense in a second, I promise. Bum 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 bum. Like, let's have like the dome. Like there. Why won't it let me move these? What? Oh. I wasn't far enough down. Okay, so if I move that, that's the center of the pterosaur enclosure. So let's just like stick like a few houses around it. Okie dokie. And then this. Maybe have it down this end. Whoops. You know, I would almost say it would be better to have this. Yeah? But of course, I think that's actually off the map. So I don't think it would actually be used. Yeah. It's technically off the map there. Why is this not on? Why is this not letting me move it? What's going on here? It won't let me move the damn thing. It should be on freeform. And yet it is not letting me move it. Something has gone wrong. I may have to... yeah, something has gone wrong with Kai's mod. It has stopped working on me temporarily. So it should be on freeform, but it is not. I don't think so. Sometimes Kai's mod can just be a bit awkward at times. That does mean... Oh. Why won't you... There you go. Seems to have returned to me now. Yeah, I think it was just throwing a hissy fit for a little bit. So let's put that back to there. Let's put that back to there. Now to get the animals in here, I'm going to have to build a thingamajig somewhere. Yes, I know, cannot be connected, blah blah blah. This will make sense in a minute. So, Pteranodon. Amazon rainforest and Pelophylax. And I think 2. And then Tapejara. Gambia River Basin, Pulkrana. I see like... three. I don't want it too crowded in here. Now I do need to make sure they have something to eat. They are within the boundaries, aren't they? That one definitely is. That one is very close to the edge. That's, I think, a little better. Unless we just put them at both of them at this end, actually. Yeah, just have them both at that end. Okay. No, I don't want to demolish. I just want to demolish the hatchery. Thank God for Kai making mods like the Invisible Aviary and Lagoon. Because it really does give you so much more choice for your environments. Oh, I know, isn't it? Isn't it, monster? Just Just stick the arrival point in the enclosure. Just does the job. Just does the job. Perfect. And I don't think it's too crowded. I mean, it's a bit disappointing you can't really see them from here. Because obviously there'll be bushes and stuff in the way there, but... I mean, I suppose you probably can from here, if I was careful with how I design the foliage and stuff. Right, let's go get the Gigantoraptors. Bum, 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 bum. Kyodenic really does make the best mods. I mean, I can't believe he failed to get a job with Frontier. It's absolutely shocking. There again, at the same time, I'm kind of glad that he didn't, because if he had, he probably wouldn't have come up with such great ideas. He would have been forced to kind of do the things that Frontier have done. Amazon rainforest and Kalkarana. And then Great Sandy Desert and Rana. What do these guys eat? Ground leaf and meat. So they are omnivorous, which works for me. I don't think 6 is too many for an enclosure this big. It is a pretty large enclosure. I'm going to stick the carnivore feeder sort of in here. And we'll have the plants that they eat around in front of sort of the viewing gallery. And now, much of the rest of this is just about decorating, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Gigantoraptor to the park.
A Gigantoraptor to the park. See, the advantage of like Kyodenics' mods is when you have like something like this, where it's like, oh, you've got a little patch of like dirt that sticks out here, and we need to get rid of it. Well, I'm just gonna. Why have you done that again?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Gigantoraptor to the park.
It's just done it again. Got jammed on me. I think I might keep accidentally hitting the repair tool. I think that's what's happening. Oh, it's M. That's what's... I'm accidentally hitting M when I go to hit N. That's what's happening.
welcome a Gigantoraptor to the park.
We'll just sort of cover up the back of this building a bit as well. Maybe not with that. Maybe with... Yeah, I think 6 works. Well, they're bloody huge. I hope the scale of... If these buildings are to scale of a person, that is fucking terrifying. Ah, well, I don't use Radar's building mods. In fact, I'll use everyone else's except for his. Nice. Someone pointed out that the 3 characters for science, security, and entertainment didn't do any lines for the hybrids, just Cabot Finch. What does that have to do with it? It seems to be that, like, whoever does the voice lines for the animals, it seems to be done entirely at random. I don't really think that there's much of a pattern. Unless I'm missing something. Oh yeah, I saw the petting zoo items, and... yeah, I'm not saying that he doesn't do good stuff. I just, I don't like his attitude. That's simply the only reason. I think he has a pretty crummy attitude. So I don't use his mods. Plus, you know, his mods are okay if you want to recreate Jurassic World, but if you want to make something truly unique and different and your own work, I think Kyodenix's or Viral Cyclopses or Colonel Veer, is it Colonel Veers? Who did the kelp. God. I'm having so much trouble remembering stuff today. Oh, it's been a long week, I think. I think that's why. Look at them all, they're huge. I'm just gonna name one of these after the birds. So this was the Nile... Oh god. Nile Valley Sunbird. And then these ones were based off of a steppe eagle. Just want to remember what I'm basing them off of so that when I come to talk about it, I know why I've made what I have. Come on, guys, you can go across the water. Right, I'm just going to spend the rest of this stream doing decorative work to try and get as much of it done as possible. It sure is a big oviraptorid. It really is enormous. Definitely wouldn't want to sort of meet it in a dark alley, that's for sure. Let's tidy up this area because it looks very messy. Oh god, I'm gonna use so many rocks. Bum 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 bum. Mid-sized oviraptor like Corythoraptor. I mean, I think we just... I mean, I know people go on and on about their wish lists for future DLCs, which I think is a bit irrelevant now because I'm not 100% convinced we're going to get any more, but if we were, we just need... Because obviously, even if it is an expansion, there'll be dinosaurs included. So apart from the fact that I think an expansion is what the game requires at the moment, in terms of species, I think we need something of a very varied size. Everything we've gotten lately, it's all been kind of a similar medium size. I think we do need some smaller stuff like Protoceratops or Psittacosaurus. I mean, I'm surprised Protoceratops and Psittacosaurus aren't already in the game, if I'm honest. They are kind of obvious candidates. Small, cute. Plenty of people have asked for them. But then I do also think we need some Triassic animals. Like, I really do think we need Plateosaurus. I think if the game ends development and we don't have Plateosaurus or Protoceratops, I shall be disappointed. few more trees to cover up the because that dark colored rock just sticks out a little too much for me. So let's just grab a couple more trees and just try and cover some more of it up. Boom, 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 boom. Let's put an orange one there. Let's grab a few sandy colored rocks. Good. Let's put like a couple here. Or any other animals outside of the Cretaceous. Yeah, something other than the Cretaceous period would be glorious. I'm so sick of the Cretaceous period. You don't think they'll cross the water? But they're huge. Like, they're legitimately huge. Like, why would they not be able to cross the water? What the fuck? Are you telling me they can't cross water, even though they're that big? It's their stupid feather mechanic. Oh, you're right. What a... Really, Frontier? You add the biggest oviraptorid ever discovered, an animal that can legitimately kick a T-Rex to death, but it can't cross water. There's no other word for that but fucking stupid. Well, no, it's not fucking stupid. It's fucking laziness. I bet they could have set it up like that, but they would probably have had to change something, and they couldn't be asked to change it, so they just cheaped out. Because screw real animals that have feathers that swim. Fucking hell. Oh! That's just now annoyed me, Cole. They and the Utahraptors don't work through water. Yeah, it's probably something to do with the feathers and how they interact with water. Considering all of the other feathered animals we have in game are pretty... Hang on, but does that mean you, Tyrannus, won't walk across water? Water, my biggest weakness. Does kind of spoil what I wanted to do with the enclosure, but oh well. Science experiment. Okay, let's do a quick science experiment. Let's actually get into the sun so we can see what we're doing. So, enclosure. Water. Food. Tyrannus. No, Tyrannus will... No, Tyrannus will walk through water. Tyrannus is another candidate for going somewhere in the park, I think. It's so bizarre that Gigantoraptor would not. I wish that, I mean, I know he's added this easy quick spawn thing, but I wish there was a way of quickly deleting stuff. Because I would want to get rid of that. Instead, I'm just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way of creating an response facility. Maybe there's something in the code that makes it think Gigantoraptor is an Oviraptor. You know, monster, I wouldn't be surprised, since they have exactly the same diet, I wouldn't be surprised if they've just copy-pasted Oviraptor code onto Gigantoraptor. So what's Utahraptor based on? Yeah, that's a good point. But then given that Oviraptor, the Utahraptor is a pack hunter, maybe they just gave the Oviraptor, like... Yeah, maybe they gave, like, the Utahraptor, like, the same code as the other raptors. Sinosauropteryx. We need to tell Frontier to fix this issue. Frontier don't listen to anything. If Frontier were willing to listen to what people said, Jurassic World Evolution 2 would be miles better, but they don't. Frontier only listen to the people they want to listen to. And usually that consists of Camp Cretaceous lovers and people they think they can get money from. Since this is something that's supposed to look like a village, I kind of think we need to make it look kind of planted at least. Yeah, that's good, like that. Okay, that's liking that. Actually, no. For this little gap here, let's put some like planting boxes in here. Something like, oh, that's huge. I just wanted something a little smaller than that. Honestly. That's a bit better, isn't it? Frontier only cares about themselves. Now, can they walk through the bushes? I'm pretty sure most of them can. But I think this gets the gist across quite well, of like a little village. Needs some further decorative work, obviously. I need to put in the rest of the trees around this area. This bit needs to be kind of decorated as well. I'm thinking something like, try and make something that looks like farmland in the back here. Do the decoration around the rest of this enclosure, and then obviously the pterosaur enclosure needs to have a similar sort of thing going for it. They're all sleeping on the... This is not a bed. It's a viewing dome. But I'm thinking of putting some, you know, the perches sticking out of the tops of the buildings so that they will sit on those. And then obviously, yeah, the rest of this area needs decorating and stuff. We really haven't got very much done in 2 hours. I'm kind of surprised. But then a lot of time was wasted messing around with these bloody lagoon viewing galleries. I should have done them off stream, but oh well. I know the Sahara Desert doesn't have cacti growing in it, but you know, we're taking some artistic licensing because you know, the Sahara Desert also doesn't have olive trees growing in it, but they do kind of look similar to other types of trees, so yeah. Sorry if it's been a bit strange. Like I say, I haven't had to do any gaming for like 2 weeks, so I'm a little out of practice. Like I say, next week I'm going to try and get 2 videos out. But don't hold me to it, it might be a bit tricky. There's a lot going on next week, so I'll do my best. That's all I'm going to say. I'll do my best to get 2 videos out next week, and obviously there'll be a stream on Sunday as per normal. But for now, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and helping me design half an enclosure, and hopefully next time we'll get a little bit more done. But wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe and good night.